Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. JobSite Jay here, and I couldn't get the information about the electricians union and laborers union because your boy is busy as heck and just ain't got time for that crap this week, I guess. But I'm gonna, maybe tomorrow I'll be able to find time. Supposedly Fridays for the boys, probably not for your boy though. But I figure, I've been promising to be more consistent. I want to do something that's like a little basic, especially because like maybe I'm gonna gear this channel towards like if you're trying to get into like the trades, and like maybe some useful things to know, if you are entering this world for the first time, or maybe you just have never used some of these things or whatever the case may be. But today I want to talk about how to use a tape measure or how to read a tape measure the correct way. So, and then there's another little special thing, I guess you could say, the reason that I have two of them. We're going to use the Fat Max though, instead of that cheap piece of crap, for the basic portion of this video, which is to demonstrate first and foremost what it is. It's a measuring instrument. It is not technically a tool. It is an instrument. An instrument is something used to take measurements, readings, anything. You don't use this to fucking fit or install or drive anything. This is simply to measure. Therefore, it is not a tool. It is an instrument. A lot of people don't know that. Okay, first thing, classification out of the way. Secondly, a lot of people think that you hook this little fucking tab right here. Now, a common saying in construction is what's an eighth, or I like to take things a little more seriously. What's a 16th among friends? Now, a lot of people think you can just hook that tab, and for some tapes, that tab is your 0 point. For me, if I'm trying to be precise with a measurement, I burn not even an inch, I'll burn a foot, right? What that means is you make this 1 foot marker, that's your new 0 point. That way you can eliminate the little room for error that little tab can leave, especially when those holes start to wobble out. And this is really important if you need to be precise. Typically, any cutting tool that you're going to use, whether especially depending on what kind of material it is, your cuts, you're going to cut to the outside. That probably is going to be burned through in your cuts, unless you're a good cut, which you should be, and you should fucking always aim to be. Then you don't have to think like that. That's why, for the fucking purpose of this video, we're gonna burn a foot. When you take your measurement, always start from low number, work to the big number. Some trades like their measurement taken in inches, some like it taken in feet. What that means is, should you have more than 1 foot, or more than 1 foot, some people would want you to say, let's say we've got 2.5 feet, right? So we're starting from 0, which is our 12-inch mark. 1 foot from 12 is 24. There's a foot, right? 12 inches. Half of that is 12 is 6 inches. So 30 here. So some people would want you to call that 18 inches, depending on what trade you're in. Other trades, like my trade, want it in feet. That's 1 foot 6 inches, right? I guess I should have started with this though. Each one of these lines, right, from inch to inch is 16. There's 16 lines. There are 16 sixteenths of an inch in between each inch on a fucking tape measure. I don't know about a regular ruler, but we're talking about a tape measure. So if you hear a measurement like 2 3/16 inches, right? So again, 12 is our 0. What that would be is 1 inch, 2 inch, 3/16 would be 3 of these little lines. That's 1, 2. Oh, shit. I should have prepared better for this, huh? Okay. 2 3/16 inches, right? So there's 1 inch, that's 2 inch, that's 1/16, that's 1/8, which is 2/16, but don't ever call it 2/16. That's 1/8. You just cut it in half. 3/16. There are 4 medium lines in between an inch. Those are quarters, right? These ones right here, those are quarters. So, or I'm sorry, those, I'm looking through a fucking camera. Those, that, and that is a quarter. Those and those are eighths. So every 2 lines is an eighth. Every 4 lines from the beginning of an inch is a quarter. Every 8 lines is obviously half an inch. If you've got 16 lines, right, you just do a little bit of division. If your measurement, what you're measuring lands, you know, at 4 lines after an inch, you know that that is 1/4 of an inch because that's 4/16. This is one of probably the most basic things that could help most tradespeople who are getting into the trades for the first time, like, go a really long way. Like, if you're on your first job ever, your first day, and some dude that's trying to teach you something says, hey, like, you ever measured something? And you could say, yeah, actually I have. I mean, even if you've never done it for work, if you've watched something like this, you learned how and you practiced it at home, then you know how, you know? Obviously, most things aren't going to be as serious as needing to be on the dot, so you could always just start from here. But and then here's a little trick, or, you know, tip, that I didn't know for a while, but a lot of standard tape measures, the base of the tape measure is always 3 inches, right? So, but bases can vary. So if you look, right, we've got a burnt inch, and we've got another tape measure. This one actually tells you right here too. It's if you probably can't read that because the lighting sucks in here. But if I take this fucking tape measure right here, and let me just, yeah, let's just fucking make it easier. What am I doing? Yeah, so the base of that, if you know, make the tape straight, because you see that tab, there's that gap between that tab. Don't trust that tab, see? 3 inches. Now this one's a little different because the base is technically considered what the surface that it would rest on, right? Well, on here, that surface is right there. This is not the base. So if you were to take this tape measure and measure, we'll just burn an inch. I don't know why I didn't just burn the fucking inch for you, but if you take this tape measure, you started at an inch, and you start from this flat end, right? Or we'll just fucking do it like that. You'll notice that it's a little bigger than 3 inches, but that's because if you look closely, 3 inches lands where that flat part that the tape measure would sit on is. You see what I mean, right? Like, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but there, that's a little better. This isn't a professional fucking studio or anything. I'm not a professional guy. I worked fucking 12 hours today doing heavy ass work. This isn't a perfect guide. This is what somebody who you will be working with one day, if you are trying to be in this fucking industry, is gonna tell you if you ever need to learn how to fucking read a tape measure. They're not gonna do it as detailed as I am right now because I have the time before I go to bed and fucking do it all again tomorrow. But like, you're gonna get a far more rushed version of what I just gave you, basically, depending on what application you're using it for. So anyways, I hope this was helpful in some way. I hope that somebody learned something. Again, I'm gonna try and be more consistent, and I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck this channel is gonna be anyway. But yeah, anyways, hope you all having a wonderful evening. Maybe I'll be back with a video tomorrow. I think I only work 8 hours tomorrow. That'd be fucking sweet, right? Anyways, y'all have a good night. Talk to you soon.